It's easier to spot when a guy sees your big booty and is horned up and he approaches you because of that. But have you ever stopped to think, what does a man do when he's emotionally attracted to me instead? See, if you don't know what a man who's emotionally attracted to you does, how will you be for sure that the guy you like is even emotionally attracted to you? Which is exactly why on today's show, we're going to be discussing the 7 big signs a man is emotionally attracted to you. That way, you know if the guy you want actually wants you too. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. How are you guys doing today? You doing good? I hope you're doing real good. It's so good to see you. It's so good to have you a part of the show. Let's see who we got over in the chat here. I believe I saw who we got. We got Kitty over here. We got Boo Boo over here. We got M over here. We got Sharice is here. Maya is here. SVV is here. Nifasimi is here. Chan is here. Camilla's here. Queen Bee is here. Adorable's here in the TikTok chat. Who we got over in the YouTube chat? Let's see who we got over in the YouTube chat. I see we got Kubi here. Fash is here. Ivy is here. Beatrixie is here. Trisha is here. Tracy Nows is here. Who else is up in the chat here? I see a bunch of people. I see a Mary. I see a Marie. I see a lot of other people. Uniqueism is here as well. Welcome all you beautiful people. And of course, Missy America holding us down in the YouTube chat. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love spending this time with you. I hope you enjoy spending this time with me. It's a great time. Let's get right into it. So first things first, let's identify what it really means to be emotionally attracted to someone. Okay. I want us to go through this real quick so that we can all be on the same page and not confused. So we're going to step into the classroom. I know you guys love the new classroom that we do here. We're going to step right into the classroom as a prefix to what we're going to talk about here so that we can all be on the same page as to what emotional attraction really is and why some of you get it confused, and a lot of terms and terminology and things guys will be saying to you in the span of your relationship will be confusing to you, and they'll make you think that emotional attraction is something that it's not. So we're going to step into the Players Club whiteboard, right? Part of the classroom here. And we're going to discuss a couple things about emotional attraction so that you can understand what's going on here. Okay. So we're going to title this part here. We're going to title it simply emotional attraction. Attraction for men. For men. Okay. So there are 2 versions of attraction here. And see, the thing about it is some of you have been confused about what those 2 versions could be. Okay. So let's split ourselves in half here. Let's split our page in half because we're going to have 2 different versions. So number 1 here is going to be the one that you guys get the most confused about, which is really lust. Okay. And so I'll put a little bit of a graph here. Don't worry, we're not going to do any math here. This is going to be a graph, but I assure you, you don't have to start sweating. We're not going to do any heavy math here. So this little graph here, right, that we're going to do as it relates to lust, I want to show you just so you can understand what emotional attraction is not. Okay. So here, down here on this bottom line, for those of you who followed in math class, here we'll have the amount of weeks that have passed. Okay. And up here, we'll say that this is his interest. Okay. Interest. Okay. Let me delete this part so that you guys we'll have space here. So up here, we got lust, right? And down here, we got the weeks that it's been. So how much time has it been, right, that he's been showing this interest? Now, with lust, this is the confusing part for a lot of you, that the men get confused, and then they also confuse you with this. So this is the men, right? So at the beginning, when their interest in you was lustful and their attraction to you was lustful, and all they did was see your big dump truck, it starts off very high here, right? So you can only imagine, right? This is a lot of interest in you. And as time goes on, the interest, as the weeks are happening, sorry, my pen is acting up here. As the weeks go on, the interest is dwindling slowly but surely until it's down here. So let's say we have 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. And by the 7th week, his interest in you is like nothing. Okay. And so for each level here, we'll say 1 piece of interest, 2 interest, 3 interest, 4 interest, right? And 5 interest. Obviously, interest isn't numerical, but I just want you to imagine as each one is increasing, this is leading up into him being, we'll call it, in love with you. Okay. Why is my pen doing that? Love. Sorry, my pen's acting up a little bit. So let's imagine that as the interest is going up, that is closer and closer to love. And as weeks are going by, his interest is dwindling and dwindling and dwindling and dwindling and dwindling until it's nothing. Now, this is the confusing part, because this is not and will never be emotional attraction. Because emotional attraction, I want you all to be following along with this. Emotional attraction cannot start off like this, okay? Emotional attraction doesn't start off super high like this. That's not how it works, and it can't work like that. Any guy who's trying to convince you that his emotional attraction for you is super strong and super heavy in the beginning is lying to you, okay? So we're going to put here, cannot, oh my God, my pen, cannot, is my pen going to work today? Cannot be emotional. Okay, so this cannot be emotional when it starts off that large. Okay, now what's going to happen is sometimes guys are going to trick you. They're going to trick you, and they're going to trick themselves, because they're going to convince themselves that real emotional attraction is this starting off really high up here. And they're going to try to tell you that they really mean it and they're really serious about it. And it's starting all the way up here. That is not emotional attraction. That is lust. Now let's talk about the graph that is emotional attraction. So here we'll have emotional attraction. Okay. So this will be a graph as well. However, this graph is going to go literally the exact opposite of the graph before. Sorry for my pen acting up, guys. I apologize. Let's just see here. Okay. So here in emotional attraction, we have the same thing. We got weeks down here. And we got interest up here. Okay. And so as time is going on, what's going to happen is the inverse. So his interest is going to start from down below here. And as time goes on, right, his interest is going to go higher and higher and higher and higher until it peaks, right? And remember, as interest goes up, that is like love, okay? As this is going up here, that's love, right? Getting closer to love. So for guys who are becoming emotionally attracted to you, it's going to start off slow, and it's going to go up, and it's going to go up, and it's going to go up until it peaks at he's in love with you, okay? The reason I want us to all be aware of that is because guys are going to get these two things confused, okay? Some guys, right, whether it be because they're trying to manipulate you and lie to you and convince you of something that's not true, they're going to try to convince you that all of their emotional attraction happened for you in the very beginning on week number 1. That is never and will never be true. Anything that they have that's interest in you at the very beginning is lustful interest. That's not a crime to have lustful interest in you, and and physical attraction, we'll call it as well, in you, right? But however, if he's trying to convince you that that's emotional attraction, it's not. that grows over time. Now, the reason that I'm giving you guys this is because when I give you all of these points today, I don't want you to be confused in thinking that if I don't see these things in a man at the very beginning, when we first start dating, then that means that he has no real attraction to me. Because emotional attraction is not meant to be instantaneous on the very first date, okay? These are things that you need to be taking notice of throughout the span of the relationship. Why do you think that in the Players Club, we talk so much about analyzing situations and being patient and allowing yourself to learn the other person? Because a lot of these things that you're going to see that are going to be answers to your questions, right? And in this specific case, answers to the question of if he's emotionally attracted to you, you're going to see these things build over time. You're not going to see them on the very first date. And any guy, listen to this, any guy who's going to try to show you that or pretend like that's so on the very first date is not showing you emotional attraction, right? He's showing you lustful attraction, which is just AKA physical attraction. Okay? Physical attraction. So don't get it confused when guys try to convince you that all of their emotional attraction for you happened in one day or one date. I also don't want you confused when you're going out on your dates thinking that you should be looking for all of these signs on the very first date. Does that make sense to you guys so far? Is my pen bent here? This is so weird. Okay, so now I know that that was a little bit of a precursor, but let's hop into number one now, okay? So after that precursor, and you guys understand that, let's hop into number one, which is going to be solving your problems. Now, when I say solving your problems, I'm talking about something very specific. See, when a guy is emotionally attracted to you, let me take a sip of water here. Someone said that, I seen the other day, they said that me drinking water hurts their ears or it's annoying. Sorry, I'll make sure to not drink liquid anymore. I'll just go dry mouth for the rest of the show. Anyways, so the reason I say solve your problems is number one, I want you to understand that when a man becomes emotionally attracted, and we can also say emotionally invested in you, they start to want your life to be good. You know how they always have the saying, happy wife, happy life. Men, right, it starts to become important to them that your life is good, your life is easy, and your problems are solved. So if you have an issue or a problem, the first thing they're always going to be thinking of whenever you present a problem or an issue in your life to them is, how can I help you to solve that problem, right? And that is a sign of emotional investment, because I can guarantee you, a man who is not emotionally attracted to you or emotionally invested in you will not give a single damn about solving your problems or helping you solve your problems. That's why some of you that be asking me, how do I get a guy to spend money on me? How do I get a guy to pay for things? How do I get a guy to give me financial help? You turn it into a problem that needs to be solved. You don't tell him I need money, but you tell him, you know, I've got a couple of things that I would really love to do. And, you know, if I just had $300, my life would be so much better and I would be able to do it. But I'm just not sure how I'm going to get the money. See, a guy who's emotionally invested in you and has extra money will be glad to help you solve that problem, because naturally, when men become emotionally attracted to you, they're always going to want to solve your problems. It's actually the same reason why a lot of times you might just want to vent to the guy that you're talking to, like literally just vent to him and tell him about how you feel and all that stuff. And you don't necessarily want to do anything about it, but he's sitting there like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to come here, and you got to, if you talk to this person and you email this person and you ask this question, you'll be able to find the answer to your problem. And you're like, babe, I just wanted to talk about it. Like, I don't really want to do anything about it. And he's like, wait, what? How can you not want to do anything about it? How can you not want to fix it? I want to fix it. I want this to be better. I don't want it to be an issue for you. I don't want you to be upset anymore. That's the reason. Okay, right? Emotionally attracted men, right, are going to present themselves, and I know it sounds kind of strange because you're like, how is that showing emotional attraction? It's showing emotional attraction because of the emotional investment, right? Emotional attraction and emotional investment are one in the same, right? Because you're not going to be emotionally invested in someone then that you're not really emotionally attracted to. Now, obviously, you can have emotional investment in someone that's not your romantic partner, like a mother or father, but in this case, it's one in the same, right? When a guy wants to solve your problems, that's a sign of that emotional attraction in a romantic relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? So let's say, for the sake of example, you have an issue that's going on at work, and you have a work colleague. Let's say this girl at work, she really gets on your nerves and is always bothering you. And you're telling your man about this issue that, your man at work is not your man. This girl at work is always talking behind your back and always saying this and that. And she's always, going behind your back on these projects and sabotaging your projects. And you're getting in trouble with the boss because of it. And he's like, okay, honey, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to let Stephanie ruin your work life anymore. I'm sitting here with you and I'm going to help you craft the email that you're going to send to HR. You're going to send them a stern email. You're going to collect all that evidence and we're going to type out what we're going to send to HR. Okay. We're going to get Stephanie fired. And you're thinking, wait, I didn't say I want Stephanie fired. I was just, no, we're going to get Stephanie fired. Get on this damn laptop. We're crafting this email right now. Okay. Right. That's an example of how a man, even if a problem is not a problem or issue you have with him, even if the problem or issue is something totally unrelated to him, he's always going to feel inclined to help you and want to help you solve your problems. It's not going to be, I want you to understand that when guys are emotionally attracted and emotionally invested in you, they're not going to be able to help themselves from wanting to solve your problems, okay? Even if it has nothing to do with them and even if you don't want to solve it. In fact, they'll become frustrated if they can't solve your problems, okay? Like I said before, there is a reason that the saying happy wife, happy life exists, because men are so keen on their woman and their woman's happiness and state of mind that whenever they're invested in a woman, they're always thinking about how to ease their anxiety, ease their pain, make sure they're good, and want to keep them in a state of what we call homeostasis. Does that make sense? Wow. I love water. I love water. Do you guys love water? Do I make you guys thirsty when I drink on the show? Those of you who don't like me drinking water on the show, you can F off, okay? So first we have solving problems. Does that make sense to you guys so far, right? I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And that's why I wanted to preface everything that I say about solving problems and all of the stuff that we're going to talk about with helping you understand that none of this stuff is going to happen at the very beginning, because I know some of you come in here and you're like, okay, Tomisin, tell me the 7 top signs that a man's emotionally attracted to me so that when I go on this first date, I'll know for sure if this guy's emotionally attracted to me. Well, it doesn't work like that. And so just because a guy on your first date doesn't show you that he's trying to solve every one of your problems, that doesn't mean you don't have a good relationship or there can't be something good there. Don't think that. And remember the graph that I just showed you, emotional attraction grows up over time. So you're going to notice these things over time. Why I always tell you, be patient so that you can have some time to actually notice these things happening and use the things that we talk about today as a confirmation over time to understand if this is moving in the right direction or not. SH says, do you see my comments? Yes, I see your comments, SH. I know you were having an issue with comments yesterday. I can see all your comments, and I could see them yesterday as well, okay? Right? So that was number 1. Now, number 2, let's talk about shared activities. Now, this is kind of a fun one, and some of you that have been in long-term relationships notice this, okay? So shared activities is essentially when a man will take interest in activities that you already enjoy because he wants to enjoy the same things as you. Okay? And he wants to spend time doing things that you do to put himself in your shoes. I know that this sounds a little bit strange, but let me give you a more direct example. So an example of shared activities would be for you guys to, let's say you have a really nice book that you enjoy reading. Let's just say you're like me and you love reading Robert Greene books. And when you meet him, you're talking to him about how much you love reading Robert Greene books. And today you're reading the 48 Laws of Power and you're so into it and you're learning so much and it's giving you so much amazing value. And he's like, oh, gee, I've never read that book, never tried any Robert Greene books or anything like that. And let's say 2-3 months down the line of you guys dating, because remember, this goes over time, he says to you, hey, you know what? You said that you were reading that Robert Greene book. I actually started reading a Robert Greene book and I was wondering if we could like read it together. Or I was wondering if you could I could catch up to you and we could start reading the same book at the same time and we could discuss it. Right? So that would be an example of you guys having now a shared activity, or him trying to participate in activities that you already participate yourself in, so that you guys can enjoy some time together and he can start to share this experience that you already experienced with you. Does that make sense? Right? So a man who's emotionally attracted to you will want to share experiences with you. And the best way to share experiences with you is to share activities with you. So a lot of times men aren't going to be like, oh, well, because I am emotionally attracted to you, I want you to play basketball in the men's league like I do. No, what he's going to do is he's going to try to step into your world, even if it's something that hasn't been necessarily that fascinating to him, even if it's something that he hasn't shown interest in when you first met him. Part of the reason why I gave you guys the preface at the very beginning to understand how this grows over time, because as they get to know you and they become more attracted to you, they say, oh, I noticed that there's this thing that you do that I don't, but I would love to step into your world and participate in some of the activities that you enjoy and figure out what it is that you enjoy from it and see if I can pull from that experience that you love and care for and enjoy so much. Okay, right? Men love to be able to share experiences with you when they're emotionally attracted to you. Okay, right? Moby says, is this a book? Like, is this advice that I'm talking about in a book? I'm sure it's also in a book as well, right? Does that make sense to you guys? Nonetheless says, can they fake this interest early on to get quicker to the pineapples? Yes. Men can fake interest, and I want you guys to be aware of that. And like I said early on at the very beginning, when I wrote and I drew you guys out that graph, a lot of times when men are faking interest at the very beginning, in fact, nonetheless, I'm so glad you asked that, because that was something that I wanted to address. So let me address that right now when we step back into the classroom, so that you guys can understand part of the ways men might fake some interest in you and not be confused here. Because I know some of you might be like, but I feel like this one guy is emotionally interested in me, and but he it's clearly not that because of Tomisin. You're saying that it might not be that. So a lot of times when guys are trying to fake their interest in you, they're going to say very particular things, and I want us to be clear on the difference between the real interest and that fake interest, like we were just discussing. Okay, so let's have up here, we'll have fake fake. Oh, I spelled fake wrong. We'll have up here fake interest. We'll say sayings. And down here, we'll have real interest actions. I promise you guys, my handwriting is neater than this. But, on an iPad, it's kind of hard. So up here, we got fake interest actions. Let me make sure that's on the screen for you guys. Pull that down a little bit. And real interest actions. So real quick here, I'll give you some points on the type of things guys will say when the interest is fake, but they want to make it seem real, very at the very beginning and very intense at the very beginning. So remember the graph that I just showed you, right? So, and how the graph was really intense at the very beginning and then it fell off a cliff after a while. So things that guys will say, let's say in the first, so this is all going to happen in like the first 1 to 3 weeks, right? He's going to say, I love you, right? He's going to say, I want to marry you, right? He's going to say, let's, oops, sorry. My pen is tripping. Let's have kids, right? He's also going to say, love at first sight, right? And he's also going to say things like, I sorry, we'll say this instead. You are so perfect. Nobody's perfect, okay? Including you. So these are all of the different types of sayings, and obviously there's way more, but these are all the different types of sayings that guys are going to say to you when they're trying to give you fake interest at the very beginning so that you believe that it's real emotional investment. And you notice here why this one says fake interest sayings, and this one here says real interest actions. Because real interest is not just saying that they're interested in you or saying a whole bunch of hoopla. Real interest is actually doing stuff, and because they do those things, that is an outward expression of real interest. So never get that confused. Like the graph that I gave you guys at the very beginning between fake interest or physical, we'll call it lustful attraction versus them being emotionally attracted to you, right? And how that graph went really intense at the very beginning and then it fell off a cliff. All of these, if you notice, all of these sayings here are really, really intense at the very beginning, right? Because guys want to create the illusion that the whole experience that you have with him at the very beginning is really, really, really intense. And the more intense he can make the illusion seem, the easier it will be to convince you that this experience that you're having with him in the first 1 to 3 weeks, I put 1 to 3 weeks here. I know some of you can't see it on YouTube here, but it says 1 to 3 weeks up here, right? And that first 1 to 3 weeks is really intense. Like you guys are falling so head over heels with each other, and there is no other love that you've ever experienced like this. And the moment you laid eyes on each other, it was all amazing, right? Those are a lot of fake interest sayings. Now, all the real interest actions are going to come, right? So I won't reveal all the stuff we're going to talk about today, but they're going to come over time, right? They're going to be gradual. Oh, is it yeah, gradual, like this, right? That's how you spell it. Gradual. I don't know. I'm not an SAT student. Next we have, let's say, so gradual, and we'll say it'll come with patience, which actually we're going to talk about here today. Patience. And then we're going to talk about real interest actions and let's say a build up over time. Okay. And all of these things are going to happen. And most importantly, they're going to feel natural. Okay. One of the things you'll notice, and we can even put this point here with the fake interest sayings. One of the things you'll notice is that fake interest tends to feel unnatural. Okay. And one of the reasons that it feels unnatural is because the emotions that someone will be expressing to you for the amount of time you've known them don't seem to be the natural, we'll say, timeline of events that should be happening at the pace that should be happening for the emotion that's being expressed. So, for example, a stranger, if I was a stranger and I came up to you on the street randomly and I looked you in your eyes and I stared real big and I said, I love you so much. I've never loved anyone like I've loved you. And all the time I've spent with you has made me realize there will never be anyone in my life that will ever, ever compare to you. You'd probably be like, sir, please step back 10 feet from me. You're making me so uncomfortable. I don't know you. I've never met you. So you telling me that you're in love with me and how much you love me is making me very, very uncomfortable. Okay? You'd probably say that. Why? Because at that point, if I'm telling you or expressing to you emotions that don't seem natural for how much I've known you, especially because I'm a stranger, that's going to feel very unnatural to you. Now, obviously, if I was that same person, except we've been dating for 3 years and I said that to you, it's going to feel a lot more justified because we've shared that time together. Okay? So I just want you guys to be aware of the difference between fake interest and real interest so you're not confused, all right? So now, let's hop back into our points here and what we are discussing. So number one, we talked about solve your problems, and number two, we talked about shared activities. LA said I'd fall for it all personally. It's okay. We're all learning. We don't want you to fall for it anymore. So number three is what we're going to call fun for all. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. Fun for all essentially means the idea that your fun is also going to be his fun. Now, I know I talked about shared activities and that sounds very similar, but in a more broad sense, what I'm also referring to is the idea of going somewhere or doing something that is your fun, like you enjoy it. That's your thing. And you have to understand, when a guy is emotionally attracted to you, what becomes even more important than whether or not he's enjoying himself or whether or not he's having a great time is if you're enjoying yourself and you're having a great time. Because I know that this sounds kind of horrible, but see, when a man is emotionally attracted to you and a man is emotionally invested in you, he will gladly put his happiness on the sidelines for your happiness. And in fact, your happiness will be so important to him, he would rather be unhappy at the expense of you being happy than have himself be happy at the expense of your own happiness. So that's why I call it fun for all, because fun for you is fun for him, which makes it fun for everyone. As vice versa, you not having fun makes him not have fun, which makes nobody have fun. And I say that to say your fun becomes his fun because of how emotionally invested he is into you. And when he's emotionally attracted to you, he will actually enjoy putting his own, I know that sounds weird, putting his own happiness on the sidelines for yours. So let me give you an example of putting his happiness on the sidelines for yours. Let's say, for the sake of example, you're like really into opera. Like you love opera so much. You're like singing in the bathroom, and you listen to opera every day. Like that's your workout routine. You've got an opera playlist. You listen to opera anytime you're in the house, just washing dishes or cleaning the house. You like to listen to opera. Opera all times of the day. That's your thing. That's been your thing ever before, since you met him, since you were a little girl. And you like going to the opera house and hearing the opera singer sing, oh, that's your thing. Okay. He might not be into that. And in fact, in this example, let's just say he's not into that at all. However, he notices that anytime you come back from the opera house, anytime you go to the opera house, whether it be with friends or just in general, right? You always come back so happy. You enjoy the experience. You have such a good time. You're so invested in it. And that brings you joy. Okay. He then says to himself, okay, I don't enjoy the opera house, but I know she enjoys the opera house. So actually, I'm going to try to make an effort for us to go to the opera house, even though I know I'm going to be miserable sitting and hearing these people scream at the top of their lungs and I'm going to be bored out of my mind. I know that coming out of that opera house, she will be happy. And in return for her happiness, I will be happy, because I know when she's in a good mood, I can be in a good mood and everyone's in a good mood. And so really smart and intelligent men that are also emotionally invested in you realize that if they really want happiness, right, truthfully in their heart, their best bet is to figure out what brings you the most happiness. And even if it's not fun for them, even if it's not exciting for them, that the best thing they can do is show a little bit of interest so that you don't think that they're miserable, and then also take you there and do that thing with you so that you're enjoying yourself, because that will mean he gets to enjoy himself and have happiness through you. So what I'm trying to say is, a man who is emotionally attracted to you will find it easy to have happiness through you, right? His happiness doesn't have to come externally from whatever he's doing at that moment that brings him joy. His happiness can also come through the joy that you experience by doing things that you enjoy, even if it doesn't make him necessarily that happy. Right? Does that make sense? Part of the reason why I say this has to happen over time, right? Says it's the opposite. If we become so interested in their interest, that might come out as desperate. Well, in the beginning, right? But as you're building the relationship and the relationship becomes more serious, obviously, naturally, you're also going to take an interest in some of the things that he does. But I want you all to be taking notice of that, right? Gemini says, I've never experienced this, and that's so sad. Don't worry. You're in the Players Club, so you're learning about men, learning about how they operate, and eventually you will get that. Don't you worry, okay? And this is the thing. Like I tell all of you, and I have to keep saying it because I know some of you get overexcited and you start shaking when I talk about signs that you should be looking for in guys, and you're thinking that you want to practice all of this on the guy that you just started dating and you just met on Hinge. And I'm trying to curb your excitement here so that you can understand this process has to build. A guy who doesn't like opera is not going to come on the first date and say, I'm so excited to go to the opera house with you tomorrow, okay? I know that you would love for all of these signs to be present in the guy that you just started dating, but the reality of it is that can never be the case. Emotional investment and attraction has to grow over a period of time, just so that we're all on the same page and you're not confused. Nicole says, hydrate, precious baby. We need to hear more of that singing. Hello, Auntie Nicole. Love being sent your way. Thank you so much. I appreciate the donation of $5 as well, Nicole. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I will make sure to drink water. I literally saw that comment. It was like before I came on here, someone was like, I don't like when you drink water. I don't like the sound of it. I'm like, okay. I'm probably not the guy for you. Okay. A Dristle says, how do we donate on here? I mean, if you're on TikTok, you can donate on there some gifts. But on YouTube, I do think it's easier to donate, which is why the YouTube audience is very generous. But there's also a way to donate coins on YouTube as well. Okay. On TikTok as well. So number 1 was to solve your problems. Number 2, shared activities. Number 3, fun for all. Number 4 is very simple, this one, actually. Number 4 is when a man can be patient with you. Now, specifically the type of patience I'm talking about when he's emotionally attracted to you is patient in allowing you to be you. Sounds weird, sounds strange. When I'm talking about patient in allowing you to be you, see, what's going to happen is when you're in a relationship that's unsuccessful, you might notice this thing that guys do. See, they meet you, and when they meet you, they immediately start trying to turn you into someone that they want you to be. And see, when they first meet you, they don't have any idea of who you actually are. So in their mind, right, they get to implant on you particular character traits or personality traits that they want you to have. And as time goes on in the relationship and they continue to meet you and get to know you better, they continue to want you to fit that box of the idea that they had of you at the very beginning. So they continuously try to turn you into the person that they imagined you to be when they first met you. And they're continuously frustrated when on an ongoing basis, as they learn you and understand you better, that they realize that you're not that person because the person they're imagining isn't you and most likely could never be you because they're usually going to be imagining some sort of perfect human being. So the number 1 thing that I want you to understand when we're talking about the patience here is not just waiting for you, like being patient in general. I'm talking about being patient with the fact that you are going to be you. And guys who are emotionally attracted to you will actually embrace the fact that you are you. And rather than trying to turn you into someone else, they will be patient in trying to learn you. Did you hear what I said? He'll try to learn you so that he can understand you better. That way he can work with you better. Not work against you, not turn you into someone else, not try to make you or tell you why you can't be you, but in understanding you and learning you, he'll be patient in that understanding of you and the process that it takes to learn you. And he will embrace the fact that you are uniquely you. Because when a man is emotionally attracted to you, he wants to discover you. I'm saying it slowly so you can hear what I'm saying. He wants to discover you rather than try to make you fit the mold of what he expects of you. Okay? Because the emotional attraction will also come with a lot of curiosity. And when men are curious about you, they're not curious about you to try to make you into someone else. They're curious about who you already are so that they can try to learn and understand who that person is. The fascination isn't in the fact that they can turn you into their own little Barbie doll that they can customize and know exactly what they want. The fascination with you is that they want to know more about you and understand how you operate, how your brain works, how you think, how you do things, why you do things. And that becomes like their curiosity about you. And they're patient in trying to learn that and understand that about you so that they can better work with you and not against you. Okay? So I'll give you an example of what it means for a guy to be patient in his emotional attraction to you, right? So let's say, for the sake of example, you're someone that, let's just say when you go out, you like to know the day before, because you have to mentally prepare yourself for the day that it's coming. Because if you have to do something last minute or you have to do something the day of, there's like not this mental preparation in your mind that, hey, I'm going to go out and meet people. Let's just say, for the sake of example, you're like a real introvert. And whenever you have to like prepare yourself mentally to see people that same day, like go out to a work party or go out to an event with your man or your husband or whatever it may be, you always like do horribly there and you don't have any social battery because you need like a mental preparation before you go to that place. I know it sounds very specific, just stay with me. So let's just say, for the sake of example, that's you and that's always been you. So you need like a day's mental preparation before you can actually go out somewhere and be social. And so an example of a man who's patient with you, see, a man who is not patient with you will say something like this: what's your problem? I didn't know about this event before. Why do you have an issue with me telling you the day of? Why can't it just be something where we go out the day of? It's a simple work party. I don't understand why you need me to tell you literally days before for some mental preparation. All you have to do is stand there and chat with people. I don't understand why you can't just stand there and chat with people. Just say yes, just say no, just laugh at jokes. It doesn't make any sense to me. But a man who is patient with you will say, oh, help me understand why it is that you need that mental preparation of like a day. Do you get anxious? What is bringing you the anxiety? Is it the idea of seeing new people? Is it the idea of having to hold conversation with strangers? And then you might explain to him, well, you know, when we go out to like work parties together or we go out to events together, you tend to this is like, when I've noticed whenever you go out with your friends, you tend to gravitate to your friends, and I'm just kind of left there and I don't really know who to talk to and I feel a little bit awkward. And so a lot of times when I'm going to a new place where I feel awkward or I feel like I don't really know a lot of people there, it makes me really nervous and it's hard for me to like strike up conversation with people. So I need kind of that mental preparation of a day before I go into something so I can like be ready to have my social battery up. I can do all the things I need to do the night before to feel confident, because when I go out and I feel confident, I feel good about myself, it helps me be more social. So then he might say, oh, you know what? I get that. You know what? That makes more sense to me and I understand where you're coming from. I don't want to change you, but now I've made that mental note so that I can better understand in the future when we're going out, so I can get the best version of you. You can enjoy yourself. I can enjoy myself. We can both have a good time. I'm going to make sure that I let you know in advance as much as I possibly can. And if the scenario comes where, I actually only know the day before or it's really important or really urgent, I will make sure to not expect you to just jump out of bed and be ready to go. And if you don't want to go, then that'll be perfectly fine with me. I'll understand where you're coming from. That's an example of a man who is patient in learning you and understanding you and wants to allow you to be you and not try to turn you into something else. Okay, right? Anonymous says he'll do all this if he respects you, period. It's true. And I want you guys to understand, this isn't meant to be rocket science. All of these things work together. Having a healthy relationship consists of a lot of similar things. And because it's a healthy relationship, all of these similar things are happening because all of the things that are supposed to be happening are happening. So when a man respects you, yeah, he's going to be patient with you. Yes, that's going to show his emotional investment in you and his emotional attraction to you. And he's going to be doing that for all of those reasons simultaneously. And that's also going to lead to a healthy relationship. So that should tell you that it is one of those, right? Yeah, that is something that guys will do when they respect you. Does that make sense? Make sense? Miriam says, when is it exam season? Exam season is coming. One of these days I'm gonna have a booklet like that. Olivia O says, no man is going to talk to me that way because I'll have to rephrase that for sure. Well, maybe some people won't be as good with communication in general. And some men won't be able to articulate themselves like I do. Okay, I'm not real. I'm an AI. And obviously, you know, some men are going to be a little bit more emotionally stunted, but all in all, they will still have the intention of trying to learn you and understand you. They just might not be as articulate and nuanced with the way they do it and as in touch with their emotions as the way we talk about on the show. That's fine, though. They're men. They're not meant to be as, emotionally there as you are. Kabibi says, wait, you're an AI? I'm absolutely an AI. I'm not real, guys. Okay. I don't actually exist in real life. I'm just a figment of your imagination. So one day you're going to wake up from a dream and you're going to realize all the things that you learned was really you talking to yourself. And it actually wasn't me. Okay. That's just it's going to be one day. You just wake up and realize that. Anyways, does that make sense to you guys so far? And why that's important. Okay, so number 1 was solving your problems. Number 2, shared activities. Number 3, fun for all. Number 4, patient. Now, number 5 is something that I want to discuss. That's a really interesting one, and I want to actually call this Stop Pooping Time because this is a really interesting one that I actually want you paying attention to because it's a little bit more subtle, and you're really only going to notice this one over time. So I call this point here, I call this the second brain. Now, the reason I refer to it as the second brain, number 5 is the second brain. The reason I call it that is because you'll notice that when a man becomes emotionally attracted to you, he's going to start coming to you for advice. Now, when I say advice, I don't mean like, hey, babe, I don't know if I should get chicken or beef at the grocery store. And I'm so unsure of what I should eat today. Can you please advise me on what I should eat? I'm not talking about advice on being his mother. I'm talking about the fact that he will use you as a second brain to get more opinions, to get a better perspective, to get a better understanding of what he's doing or what the best course of action might be. And he'll use you as a second brain to bounce ideas off of because, and this is where I want you paying attention and why I say it's Stop Pooping Time, because it's so important. You need to understand that a man who's emotionally attracted to you will actually trust your judgment. And because he trusts your judgment and respects your judgment and thinking power and understanding of the world, he will ask you for advice on things that might not even be in your wheelhouse, right? Things that might not have anything to do with you. So I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by using you as a second brain. Let's say, for the sake of example, he's a CEO at a Fortune 500 company because you like to date millionaires, okay? Very powerful, very successful man. So he comes to you and he's letting you know, he's like, you know what? We got this big, third quarter meeting at work, and I'm just trying to figure out how to make the shareholders happy. I've got a lot of decisions to make, and the shareholders are really unhappy with the profit loss statement for this quarter. And, and our shipments aren't coming in on time. I've got to figure out how to cut some costs, lay off some employees. This new department in development, we're really working on something that could be groundbreaking. But I'm just not sure whether to cut this department because it is in development and it's not fully done yet. And I can't guarantee the profits. But at the same time, I know it has a lot of potential. I'm just not really sure what to do. And so you advise him, even though you're not in the field, you start asking him questions like, okay, so let me know, what do you think that this department is going to do? How do you think it's going to benefit the company? Well, I think it's really going to benefit the company because in the next 5 to 6 years, you see how the world's changing with technology and AI. This is going to be a system that we can implement into our business and we could really skyrocket it. See, when we utilize this, eventually, once we build this system out, it's going to take a couple of years to get this done. But once we build this system out, it can really make a change in our business. And I feel like if we don't do this, we're going to be behind the 8 ball of all of our other competitors. And then you say to him, well, don't you think that would be exactly what you would need to do to tell the shareholders? And he's like, no, you're right. That's exactly what I should tell the shareholders because, yeah, that is really important for our business. And if we're going to be behind the 8 ball, how are we ever going to compete in the future? It's not just about today. It's about tomorrow. And I know I went through a whole role play here, but you get my point. Right. And when he uses you as a second brain, even if you're not in this field, even if you're not necessarily, in the weeds of understanding exactly what he's doing on a particular basis. He comes to you for advice to be able to, because he trusts your judgment to be able to understand the nuance of situations, ask you questions, analyze your advice, and really take it to heart. I don't know if it was me that made this saying or it's just been a saying in general, but I always love this idea in my mind where I think to myself, I'm like, okay, back in the day, when there was kings and queens, you see, the king will tell all the knights, all the peasants, all the people of the kingdom exactly what to do, right? If he orders someone to be beheaded, they'll be beheaded. If he orders someone to be banished, they'll be banished. The king orders anything and everything that goes on in the kingdom. But when you think to yourself, if the king goes at home at night and he talks to his queen, and based on his queen's advice and based on his queen's words and thoughts and opinions and perspective, he is now persuaded to either do something or not do something based on the conversations he has with his queen. And his queen is so influential in his decision making that he can actually be swayed to make one decision or the other based on the conversation he has with her. Well, then who really runs the kingdom? Because if the king tells everyone what to do, but the queen has the king's ear and can persuade the king to make a particular decision, well, then isn't the queen running the kingdom? Shh, don't tell anyone. But I just say that to say it's natural that when a man becomes emotionally attracted and invested in you, he's going to use you as a second brain, and you're actually going to be capable of influencing the decisions that he makes because he trusts your judgment, because he believes in your ability to also analyze situations, bring good ideas to the table, bring new ideas to the table, and look at things in a way that he might not be seeing them, and for him to be able to implement those strategies or those tactics into whatever it is that he's doing, even if you don't actively work in his field. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit complicated, and that's the reason I called this Stop Pooping Time, because I know that for some of you who might be on the younger side, this might be a little bit harder to grasp if you haven't had long-term serious relationships. But I can assure you, just pocket this one in your pocket for now for a little bit and remember it as you're growing long-term relationships so that you can be like, oh, that's what that is. Those of you who are on the more mature side know exactly what I'm talking about, but those of you who might be a little bit younger might not. It's okay. This is just something for the future for you. Does that make sense to most of you so far? Are you getting what I'm saying? Right? Olivia O says, I gotta agree. Someone said that men will often use women as the second brain and claim the idea as theirs. That happened to me, and it's crazy to be gaslit like that. Well, that is an unfortunate situation, right? When they use you as the second brain, but they don't allow you the credit of being that. But I can assure you, when that is happening, it does happen like that, right? Where he'll ask for your opinion and he'll take your advice into account, right? Says, so this is an important sign that he loves you, since men rarely ask for opinions. Yes. 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 Because if he's asking you for your opinion and he actually acknowledges that he's asking you for your opinion because he trusts your judgment and that's why he wants to know what you think, then that's a good sign that he does have a lot of emotional attraction and investment in you, right? Because when you're emotionally attracted to someone, you also respect their way of thinking. You respect the way they operate. You respect their brain and their ability to analyze situations and make judgment on situations, right? You can't be emotionally attracted to someone that you feel like is less than you. Right? You can't be emotionally attracted to someone who you feel like isn't of the same capacity or ability in terms of their mind as you, right? It just wouldn't make sense, right? Because now you feel like you're talking to someone that wouldn't even possibly understand the nuance in which you're speaking, right? You feel like it'd be like saying a queen could be emotionally attracted to a peasant who has no level of power or understanding of what she does or what she goes through, right? You'd have to actually respect that person to be emotionally attracted to them. I hope that makes sense, okay? So number 1 was to solve your problems. Number 2, the shared activities. Number 3, fun for all. Number 4, patient. Number 5, second brain. And number 6, this is a little bit easier one to grasp for those of you who might be on the younger side. Number 6 is being protective. Okay? And I mean this in both the physical sense and the emotional sense. Men who are emotionally attracted to you will be protective over you. They're not going to want people to take advantage of you. Okay, they shouldn't be taking advantage of you, but they damn sure won't want other people to take advantage of you. And one thing that you'll notice with men who are being protective of you is anytime you tell them about a situation you're going through, whether it be with your girlfriend, your friends, your family, whatever it may be, and he starts to feel like that person is either taking advantage of you or trying to take advantage of you, he's always going to step in or get upset that you're even allowing someone to take advantage of you. Why? Because he's naturally going to be protective over you, and even more so protective over your emotions. Okay? He doesn't want people to walk all over you. He doesn't want people to treat you however they want to treat you. Zoe says, I get this one mixed up with being controlling. This, of course, should not be in a controlling sense, but this should be in a concern sense, where he does not want people to come into your life and just, take control of you or manipulate you in general, right? So I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. So let's say, for the sake of example, at work, you have a boss that is always on your butt. And let's just say, for the sake of this example, it's a woman boss. She's always up your butt about everything, but at the same time, she takes credit for everything that you do at work. So when you get an assignment done or you bring a really good idea to the table, you have to bring it through your boss. And when you bring it through your boss and it's a really good idea, she implements it. She tells upper management that she came up with this idea. She takes credit for the idea and she gallivants around like she's the one that did the idea and she's the reason for this thing being implemented. So you don't get credit, but anytime there's something bad happening or anytime there's a whole bunch of responsibilities to be dumped on the table, she always dumps the responsibilities on your table. You figure out the solution to the situation, you bring the solution to her, and she takes credit for the solution. So then he starts saying, babe, you got to tell upper management about this, and you got to show them evidence that you've been bringing these solutions to the table. You can't let her continue to be taking advantage of you. And you might even, and this is going to sound weird, you might even get into an argument with him because he's saying, you can't allow this to continue happening where you're the one doing all the work at work and your boss is taking credit for it. And you're saying, but no, babe, I can't go to upper management because if I go above her, I could risk my job, because if she finds out I go above her, then she's going to be upset and then she's going to try and get me fired and I'm already on thin ice. And he starts to say, no, you can't allow. It's about the moral. It's about the principle. If she's going to be taking all of your ideas and pretending like they're hers, she can't do that. And you might, like I said, you might end up getting into an argument because he starts to get heated and upset that someone else is taking advantage of you at work and you're not getting your justice for what you're bringing and offering to the table. And so he becomes protective over your emotions, protective over you in general, and wanting to make sure that even when he's not around, even when he can't take care of you, even when he can't be there to fight for you, he wants to fight for you in ways that are indirect by helping you stand up for yourself against people who are trying to take advantage of you. Right? Bree says, yeah, it was hard, but now I appreciate having him look out for me always, right? So once again, something that you guys will notice, like I said, calm yourself. You'll notice this over time. This isn't something you're going to notice on the very first date, but over time, as his emotional attraction increases in you and grows in you, you're going to start noticing how he steps in to say, no, 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 no. You don't allow these people to walk all over you. No, 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 no. You don't allow these people to take advantage of you. You're going to step up and stand up for yourself, and you're going to speak up because no one gets to cross you and act like nothing happened, right? Sounds weird. And for some of you might be like, damn, that sounds kind of intense. But I promise you, men become protective over you when they become emotionally attracted to you. It's impossible for them to not, right? They can't just say, I don't care, I don't give a damn, when they actually love you and care about you. It's very difficult for a man to really be in love with you. And anytime you tell him you're in distress, because remember, we talked earlier about solving your problems. Anytime you're talking about you're in distress, or you have a disagreement, or someone's taking advantage of you, or someone's becoming a problem in your life, they're always gonna want to step in. It's not possible for him to just sit idly by and say, yeah, despite me knowing that you're getting taken advantage of, I'm just going to sit here idly and do nothing. They literally cannot do that. They really care about you and they really love you. It's not going to be possible for them. Now, if they don't give a damn, If they're just here to utilize you and just here to jackrabbit themselves inside of you for 90 seconds, well, yeah, it's going to be easy for them to let anyone walk all over you because they don't give a damn. Okay. So I hope that makes sense to even those of you on the younger side. I know this is a little bit of a, a more mature conversation. It's okay though. I know some of you will understand what I'm saying. Number 1 was to solve your problems. Number 2, shared activities. Number 3, fun for all. Number 4, being patient. Number 5, the second brain. Number 6, being protective. And number 7, this is one of the most interesting ones and kind of just fun ones in general. Number 7 is he wants to learn from you. This might be one that you can see a little bit earlier on. So for those of you that are like, oh, what are the type of things that I can see really early on? Can you tell me those ones? He wants to learn from you because, like I said earlier, when I talked to you guys about guys coming to you for advice and using you as a second brain. See, when a guy respects your way of thinking, right? When a guy is attracted to you emotionally, he's also subsequently attracted to your mind and the way that you think, right? And the way that you approach life. So when he meets you, obviously he has his own experiences in life. Obviously he has his own way of going about things. But when he when he meets you and he starts building a relationship with you, what he's going to become fascinated by is how you think, how you operate, how you approach life, how you approach relationships. And see, because you guys are naturally going to be individuals and going to be different in the way that you think and go about life, he will take the opportunity in learning you and understanding you, I said learning you, to learn from you. And see, really, guys who are really emotionally attracted and invested in you will actually try to learn some tricks that you already, some tricks or some talents that you already possess, some ways or hacks of going about life that you already do or know or understand based on your experience. And he'll actually try to learn from your experiences and take some of your hacks in life and learn from you to get a better understanding of the world or to implement those tools and put those tools in his toolbox so he has an even bigger toolbox. Let me give you an example of that so that you can understand specifically what I'm referring to. So let's say, for the sake of example, you're someone who knows how to use your presence to persuade people. And you have been, suffering from pretty privilege all your life. And you're someone that knows how to talk someone into out of saying no to you into saying yes to you just by simply presenting yourself in a particular way, being very personable to them and getting them, really invested in you where they say, it wasn't no at first, but sure, you can get the thing, right? And so he's like, oh, well, explain to me, like, how do you do that? And you're like, well, one, you got to be pretty, you got to be attractive. He's like, no, I get that. But like, aside from that, like, how do you actually do that? And then you start explaining to him. So when you go up to someone and they tell you no, you've got to start thinking about, like, what do they care about the most? So for example, I was at a club one time and me and my girls literally couldn't get in because we came in at 12:30. But like when I was talking to the bouncer, I was explaining to him because I saw that on his, on his wrist, he was wearing his favorite football team. So when we were talking and having conversation, rather than talking about trying to get into the club, I started chatting with him about his favorite football team. His favorite football team was the Indianapolis Colts. And so I was talking to him about the Colts and I was like, did you end up going to the Super Bowl when they had the Super Bowl? And how many games have you been into? And literally for the next 5 minutes, I just had a conversation with him about the Colts and, how much he loves them and all the games that he's been to. And then after the 5 minutes of the conversation, he was like, you know what, you and your girls, you guys can come in. Don't worry. Don't tell anyone. Right. And you start explaining to him, like, all you have to do is notice something about someone, start talking about that, and it disarms them. And a lot of times they'll want to do something for you because you started showing interest in them and their own life. And it makes you real to them. And then he says, oh, that's a really good idea. I never thought of it like that. I'm going to implement that in work. I'm going to implement that when I meet people. And see, that's the really amazing part about building a relationship with someone is that not only do you get to meet that person, but you also get to learn from that person and learn from their experiences. And see, we all have different talents and different skill sets. And one of the really cool parts about building a relationship with a new person is you get to see some of their skill sets in action, and you actually get to take some of them, have them teach you some of those skill sets and utilize some of those skill sets in your own life. So if you're with someone that's really charismatic or really charming or knows how to persuade people and get what they want from people, then you might be saying they might be saying to you, hey, I want to learn how you do this. When you do it, it's like magic and it's amazing. And I want to figure out how you do it. I want to understand you better. I want to learn from you. You have gifts and skill sets that I do not possess. And I applaud you for that. And I would love to know how you do that, how you go about life like that. Oh, you're such a good painter. Can you teach me how to be a better drawer? Like, even though that might not be a skill that's going to help me in life, but I want to learn how you do it. I want to be a part of this process so that I can gain something from our relationship, not in a physical sense, but in an emotional and a spiritual sense, where I'm gaining a skill. I'm gaining more knowledge. I'm gaining a better understanding of life or a new perspective. That's another thing that's really big that guys are going to want to do, right? They're going to want to gain a new perspective on life through you and through learning of you, about your life, about your experiences. And that helps them understand the world in a more holistic way. And a lot of men who are emotionally attracted and invested in you will love to be able to learn more about life through you, travel with you. If you have a different culture, right? Let's say, for the sake of example, let's say you're a Muslim and he's not Muslim, right? He's going to take an interest in your culture and trying to understand the way that the family structure is and how you guys go about things and how you guys talk and the language and how you go, the food that you eat and the places that you go and the most important places and where you grew up and all these things, right? Men will use because they want to learn from your own experience in life. They want to learn from you, the human being and the individual. And they take pride in being able to learn from you because that knowledge that they get not only helps them better understand you, but it even in a weird way helps them better understand themselves. Okay? Right? Ebone says, wow, I've been so closed off to this. Shake my head. It's okay. As you join the Players Club, you learn a lot of things. I learn a lot of things from you guys as well. And we all grow together. Okay, so do all of those 7 make sense to you guys? Okay, so we had solve your problems was number 1, shared activities number 2, fun for all number 3, being patient number 4, the second brain number 5, protective number 6, and learn from you is number 7. Okay. Salma says, but you have to make sure that this isn't love coming from a narcissist. Well, first of all, narcissists can't really love you. They can fake loving you. They're not actually going to be in love with you, though. And we actually discussed that earlier on the show in the difference between what guys will try to pretend is real interest and real emotional attraction, but what is actually lust, and the type of things that they'll say and the type of things they'll do when they're faking that. If you want to rewind and go back to that for any of you that missed that part and you're on TikTok, just go over to my YouTube. It's Tomisin Atobatele on YouTube. Just type it in, and I'm live right now at the same time I'm live on TikTok, and you'll be able to rewind it, and see when we talked about that, because we did go over that as well, okay? Thank you, Drizzle, for the donation there, and thank you to Valerie. I said Valerie. I was going to say Valerio, but Valerie, thank you so much for the 200 coins as well in the TikTok chat. Thank you to all you guys who donate. I appreciate you all. Does that make sense to you guys all? Okay. Valerie says, why would a recent ex still speak and talk about the things you introduced to them? Like you're talking about, so after you guys break up, he's still talking to you and speaking about the things that you guys discovered or like you said, you introduced to them. Well, that could be to rekindle the relationship, and he could be rekindling the relationship for a multitude of reasons. That's like trying to come back, right? And I've actually had a whole show about what to do when men come back. So you should go over to my YouTube and you should watch that show where I talk all about what to do when a man comes back, because that's a perfect example of that. Right? Says the person who really truly loves you will want to push you a little harder to become better. I agree. Okay. I 100% agree. Tracy now says they will grow with you effortlessly. 100%. A lot of the stuff I talk about, I know some of you might be like, well, Thompson, isn't this obvious? Well, Thompson, of course a guy would treat you like this when he likes you and it's a good relationship and it's a healthy relationship. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to talk about that in theory and how easy it is to understand, but, it's a lot harder to actually know that you're seeing it when you're in it, because when you're in it or you're in the relationship, sometimes your mind is so jumbled up thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff outside of how the relationship is working out right now, right? LA says, what if he tells you to wear less revealing clothes? Is this coming from care or control? Well, that is something, I'll say that is something that needs to be worked out with your partner, because I don't think that him saying that he wants you to wear less revealing clothes necessarily comes from a bad place, because naturally if he really likes you and really is invested in you, he's not going to want you to be on display for a whole bunch of other people. That's not in a natural way of thinking. However, there is a line there where there's meant to be a compromise between something that you still feel really good in and really sexy in, but also he doesn't feel like is quote unquote too much for someone who's in a relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? So there's a balance there where you can still wear what you like and enjoy, but also he doesn't get to be made to feel uncomfortable because of what you're wearing. Okay. And it starts to cross a line when it becomes over too much in one direction or the other, where he's telling you that you can't wear this, you can't do that, and you gotta literally wear a turtleneck sweater covering you from head to toe and wear a garbage bag on top of that just to go out, right? That's controlling. But also, it's a little bit on the extreme side if you're saying that you're gonna be with someone and they're telling you it makes them a little bit uncomfortable when you're wearing something super revealing, and then you're saying, no, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Well, if you want to do whatever you want, then you're probably better off being single. That goes for anyone, right? And so there's a balance there. With a lot of things, there's a balance. It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other. And that's the thing that a lot of people get confused when it comes to relationships. They're always looking for the extreme answer. I only want one answer and I want to live my life exactly that way and not think that there's any other possibilities. But there's a balance where you can compromise with your partner and both people can feel like they're actually getting what they want. It doesn't have to be one or the other, okay? LA says, because men are genuinely protective and territorial. I mean, yeah, if they actually like you, they're not just going to be like, I don't ever care, right? Like the idea that men that actually like you are just always going to be like, I don't care what you do what you want, is ridiculous. That's never going to happen. However, there's a balance to being like, I do care what you do and it does matter to me. However, you are still an individual. So while I can express what makes me uncomfortable, I don't necessarily feel like I own you. And, like you can only ever do what I want you to do. Okay. Bree says, I changed, not worth an argument. I mean, like I said, that's something, like I said, you have to discuss with your partner and come to an understanding on, okay? Someone who's not trying to control you will be perfectly fine coming to an understanding with you on. And if you are in that situation, I'd advise you to ask him specifically what makes you uncomfortable when I wear it. Like what pieces of clothing, what types of clothing, and why does it make you uncomfortable? Get to the root of the problem. Sometimes you guys will discover a lot of stuff when rather than just getting upset, you ask more questions. Asking questions will always get you in a better place. I promise you, right? Does that make sense? Marie says, can you make him love you again after you hurt him? I mean, yeah, you can. But it also depends on what you did, right? Because for everyone, not just men, there is always going to be a point of no return for people. And so it really depends on what you did and whether you crossed too many lines or went too far with one of the things that you did. And maybe there's no coming back from that. You never know. So it really depends on your situation. Okay? I seen Cherise say it. She's fiending for this. It is time now. I want to get right to it. I want to get straight into it. Let's get straight to it. I want to get straight to it. Do you know what time it is? You better spam in the chat what time it is. You better spam in the chat what time it is. I want to know in the chat what time it is. You better spam in the chat what time it is. I want to know. You better not look at your clock. You better not look at your watch. You better not look at your phone. You better not do anything except sit there at home and know what time it is. You better look in the chat if you don't know, if you're new here, so you're not confused. For all you new people, it's a very, very, very special time. Time for you to learn, time for you to cry, time for you to be happy, time for you to be sad, and some of you laugh because some of these stories are tragic. I'll make you aware if you're confused. Oh man, I won't lie. That brings me joy every single time. Okay. Let's hop into the Discord, guys. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what the Discord is, it's essentially when all the beautiful, amazing members of the Discord get to hop into our Players Club Discord and ask me a personal question of their relationship or their situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, there are two options to submit your question into our relationship advice Discord section. You have the free version of our relationship advice here, or you have the premium version. Now, I'll explain to you both. The free version, you send in your question like regular. There's an example post, and you just go through the format and you post your question right in our forum with using the link in our TikTok bio or using the link in the description there to post into our Discord or the pinned comment. Now, I'll warn you, if you post into the free version, it is first come, first serve. And as you see here, I have probably like 100 questions to get to before I could get to yours today. And I'm like 30 days behind. So it's going to take me about 30 days before I can get to your question if you ask it in the free version today. Now, if you don't want to wait that long and you're impatient and you want to get your question answered by today or tomorrow, very soon, right, in the next 2 days, all you have to do is go into Relationship Advice Premium and ask your question. And to get into Premium, to access it, you first have to donate to the show so that you can get what is essentially, a a VIP pass at like a theme park. So you know how you get to skip the line at a theme park if you get that fast pass or that premium pass? It's exactly like that. So when you donate to the show, you get access to Relationship Advice Premium so that you can get like the fast pass and premium pass. Now, when you donate to the show, which you do by going into the same link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube, right? All you got to do is when you send in your donation, you'll see where you are prompted to put in your Discord username and the title of your question. That way, I get a notification on my phone, which I've received a couple of notifications here, as you can see in our questions, and I can verify that that's you that asked that question, so that we keep it fair for everyone and we don't have people in Relationship Advice Premium skipping the line that didn't actually ask the question, okay? So make that clear for you. And if you're someone who's like, Tomisin, I love you so much and I love your show, but my situation is a little bit personal and I don't feel comfortable putting it live on the show for you to answer, perfectly fine. I also have an option in that same link in my bio and on YouTube as well for you to ask your private relationship question to me, and I answer it to you directly through your email via voice message. Okay, so don't worry, you got all the options there. Let's hop into our first premium relationship advice question here that comes from Lil Cinny Gang. We've seen her before. She back. Situation needed help. Hi, Tomisin. This is my second time submitting a premium question. I remember you. I have gotten myself into another predicament with a different guy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess it's true when they say old habits die hard. Oh boy. Your previous answer to my question helped me immensely, and I was hoping you could help me navigate this current situation. Okay. I have recently started seeing this guy. He is 30 and I'm 29. We have been on and off since December and met through a dating app. Yeah. To set the scene, when him and I first met back in December, I had no idea about your channel and was so unaware of the games that people play and dating. Our first date was amazing and we hit it off. We really had good chemistry. Unfortunately, I had pineapples with him on the second date. Which was a huge oversight on my part. Yeah. We continued to see each other casually for a few months, but his communication was really bad and he was very closed off, so I called it quits and walked away. A month later, he gave me an apology and I was dumb enough to welcome him back with open arms. When we met up again for the first time, when we met up again for the first time again, I did not partake in pineapples, but I did do some other things, and the following dates led to pineapples. I thought you said you started watching my show. His communication started to become really bad again. He would sometimes take more than one day to respond to me, and the dates became really low effort and last minute. Because of this, I walked away once again. Fast forward to 1 month later. Oh my God, please don't tell me what I think you're going to say. Walking away again, he pops back up and texts me again. Lil Cine Gang, please, I'm begging you, don't do it. Don't do it. I haven't read this message yet. You better not do it for the third time. I do not respond. 2 weeks later, oh my gosh. If you do this again, I'm going to lose my marbles. He follows me on Instagram. You're making me very nervous. I followed him back 2 weeks later. And we started DMing each other. Namaste. No, don't. Maybe she recovers. Thompson, maybe she recovers. And maybe throughout the DM she realizes this is a mistake and she doesn't do it and doesn't do the same thing over again. Just maybe she realized. Okay. After talking for a while, we went on a date this past weekend. Let me get up. Let me get up for a stretch here. I just we gotta, you guys know, part of Discord time, we gonna have yoga time. I gotta stretch it out because, oh God, I don't like to, when I start getting stressed out like this, if I don't stretch it out, if I don't release the energy and the tension within me, I'm gonna burst, right? And I don't wanna burst on screen, no diddy, okay? And it stresses me out when you guys say things like this. We're on our very first question of the day here. And Lil Cine Gang has went back to the same guy 3 times. It went well. It's going to make me mad, I already know. And I was asking him lots of questions about himself. He was being much more open and talkative than before. No pineapples or any other acts were done, except for some kissing at the end. He did try to take it further, but I told him it was getting late. He texted me the next day after, and we are still in contact. I want to know what the best course of action is to take in this situation, and what should I be doing if we go on further dates? I do really like him, and we have really good banter and conversations. He has a really good career and he's a very focused kind of man, which I like. I would like this to lead to something more than casual, but I don't know if that would be possible given the history. Thank you so much for your help. Someone said something I'll actually advise. Rosie said, wear pants and glue them on. That's exactly what you should do. Low Cine Gang, when you go out on this date, you're going to wear your tightest pair of jeans. I mean skin tight. I mean you can't even breathe tight. And you're going to strap up your belt so you can't even eat too much. Okay? That's how tight your belt should be. And you're never going to undo that belt or take off those pants for the entire date. In fact, you shouldn't even be stepping foot in this out. I don't want you consuming alcohol. I don't want you smoking. I don't even want you vaping. Nothing that's going to take you outside of absolute clarity. Nothing. If you're gonna go out on this date, now I'll be so real with you. I wouldn't even advise you to go out on this date again with him, because this is number 3 try now, and on 2 occasions he's already shown you all he's gonna do is show you effort for a little bit and then be gone after he sleeps with you. So that's been the pattern. So we can't ignore the pattern. And honestly, I would advise you to just not even do this with him. But I know that's probably not what you're going to do. So I'm going to give you alternate advice, knowing that you're probably not just going to not talk to him, because you've already prefaced it by saying, I really like him. I really want this to work. So if I just tell you don't talk to him, you're not actually going to do that. Let's give you alternate advice based on what you're probably likely to actually do. Strap your belt on so tight you can't breathe, and wear the tightest pair of pants that it takes you at least 10 minutes to even get into them. I'm not even joking. Like, to the point where it's uncomfortable, the idea of even taking them off, so that you don't get tempted. I'm so serious, because you're having an issue here. I also advise you, and I'm not joking, before you go out on the date, rub one out. Rub actually like 3 out. I'm not joking. Whatever you want to use, if you want to use the Tracy's dog and get one in the link in my bio or whatever, or the link in my TikTok, wherever you're watching this, get the Tracy's dog. You know you get a discount when you go and get that. You know that I recommend it, and I highly recommend it to get what you need to get done. And I've done some experimenting so that I know that that's the best possible toy you can possibly use for yourself and for your pleasure. Don't ask me how I know, just know I did extensive research. You use that, you rub about 3 out, get yourself good, then you go out on this date. Okay? Someone said, which one? Number 2 is the best one. It's got a remote, and it's got all the different patterns. I did a lot of research. And so I really mean that. Do that, then you go out on the date. Now, the other thing that you need to do, like I said, don't be going over to his place. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't do nothing that's going to take you out of a clear mind state and a mind frame. I also, truthfully and honestly, I'm not saying that kissing is a crime, but for you, the position that you're in, I would recommend all you do is like pet kiss him. Do not be tongue kissing him. Nothing that's going to be a gateway drug. So kiss him. The kiss should only last less than 3 seconds. Don't be doing these long kisses. Don't start making out, and damn sure don't start tongue kissing him. You're going to lose your marbles, and you're going to lose everything you're working for, because clearly he's shown you that the pattern is, if he spends too much time with you, sorry, I shouldn't even say spends too much time with you. If he spends time with you and then sleeps with you early on, he's shown you the pattern that when he sleeps with you, he's going to get bored of you, and then he's just going to disappear on you. So that's clearly been the pattern. It's happened twice now already. So you don't want that to continue happening again. So you need to see how much investment he's going to have when pineapples is not on the table. So you're going to have to say no a lot, and you're going to have to be prepared to say no a lot. And if he gets so frustrated that he can't understand why you're saying no now, and he can't understand why he can't just have that easy access to you, and he's too frustrated by that, then leave him be. Let him be upset. Because you need to ensure that this guy is here with you, not just to sleep with you, but to actually like build something with you. Because what it's sounding like is he enjoys the idea of coming and playing house or boyfriend for like 2 to 3 weeks. He'll sleep with you for 2 to 3 weeks. He'll play boyfriend for 2 to 3 weeks, and then he'll go about his business. So you need to stop that cycle by stop allowing him to sleep with you for those 2 to 3 weeks. And then let's see if he's willing to still go out on dates and pay for dates and be nice and be kind. See, guys are real good at small talk and showing and pretending like they're interested in you when they know at the end of the night they're about to sleep with you. You'll be surprised how funny, how interesting, and how many jokes a guy will be saying and laughing with you and seeming like he's enjoying his time with you when he knows he's about to step into some warm squirtle when he gets back to his place. But when that's not on the table, we'll see exactly how nice and caring and kind he is, and how interested he is in you and telling jokes and being funny and being interesting. Because a lot of times guys are only putting in that amount of effort and being that interesting because that's there for them at the end of the tunnel. So when there's no light at the end of the tunnel except to build with you over time, we'll see how interested he is then. And you have to start gauging that by taking that off the table. So I don't even, for your situation, Lil Cine Gang, I don't even want you saying that you're not sleeping with him. The reason I don't want you saying that is because you already made, I'll just be real with you, I'm not trying to be mean to you. You already made yourself look dumb by sleeping with him on the second date. Let me scroll up so you guys don't think I'm capping, okay? You already made that mistake here. Where did it go? In the dating game, right? You already made that mistake here early on where you said you slept with him on the second date. So when you come to him after sleeping with him on the second date on that first run, and you say, oh, well, now I'm not that type of girl that's going to sleep with you early on, he's just going to laugh in your face and you're going to make yourself look like a Goofy the Goober. Okay. So rather than just talking about it, just actually do it. So don't go over to his house. Don't spend the night. Don't go over and drink wine or sit in the car and smoke. Any of the things that you know guys say when they're trying to set you up for failure. Because that's what's happening. He's setting you up for failure by putting you in temptation's way. When you're in temptation's way, you got some things influencing you. You got some weed in you. You got some alcohol in you. You got some wine in you. You're all horned up because you haven't rubbed one out in a while. You want to be touched. All that stuff. You got gateway drugs. You're kissing his tongue. All that stuff like that. All of that's going to lead you to make mistakes because you're putting yourself in temptation's way. Don't do that. Okay. And like I said, wear your tightest pair of jeans. You should barely even be able to breathe. You should have to take 10 minutes to even get them up over your bum and strap that belt on so tight. It's hard to even eat food. I'm not joking. Because if you don't have self-control here, you're going to end up in the same place that you were earlier. Are you following me? And I'm very serious about that. So that is your strategy, Low Cinny Gang. Okay. Next here we have Shay 909. Shay 909 says ghosting. So Shay says, I'm 22 and this guy is 25. This guy randomly added me on Snapchat 5 days ago. Turns out he is a friend of a friend. Let me see here. Turns out he is a friend of a friend. We think the same and actually have a lot in common. I like him a lot and would love for our relationship to end up in marriage, as we both opened up about wanting to settle down. He asked to see me in person, which I would have loved. However, I had a lot going on and never had time. College, job, losing a close relative, etc. He gets mad whenever I tell him I'm busy because he thinks I'm lying / don't care about him, which is not the case. Also, not that bad of a thing. Sometimes when guys think you're not that interested in them, I know that some of you want to like tell the guy, hey, I'm actually really interested in you, but like, don't worry. Like a lot of times guys will still talk to you even if they think you're slightly uninterested in them because they feel like you're slightly uninterested in them. Weird, but true. Okay. So don't worry about that as much. It's not as big a deal as you think it is. The problem / red flag is that he keeps disappearing every now and then. He would disappear for 5 days and come back as if nothing happened, which would drive me crazy. Oh, I missed my place. Which would drive me crazy, but the more he did it, the more I became numb to it. He's rich and he's really devoted to his work, which takes 24/7 of his time. I told him that I understand and that he can talk to me whenever he's free, which he used to do, but now he doesn't even bother to text back and ghosts me a lot, leaves me undelivered. And when I became unbothered and ghost him back, he gets mad and says, I don't care, when in reality, he's the one that doesn't care and keeps ghosting. Last time he ghosted, I decided I've had enough and actually left the chat so he could not text me back and simply said, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Like you said that? It's something I had to do for him to respect me and not take me for granted. Couple of days have passed of me ignoring him and going no contact, not watching his stories, Snapchat stories, and not posting anything in hopes of him missing me, texting me, and changing his ways. However, he still did not text back, and I'm wondering if I am doing the right thing. How do I get him to text me again? I really do miss him and would love for our relationship to evolve, but it seems that he doesn't see my value and keeps taking me for granted. Thanks a lot, Thompson. So, Shay, in the special situation that you're in, I think that what you must do now, you have to stick to your word, because since you already went out and said, hey, I'm not going to be messaging you anymore, and this is basically a waste of my time, you have to stand on that now. So you kind of backed yourself into a corner a little bit, because now that you've said it, if you go back on it, you're going to look like a dumb. And that's not gonna be good for the rest of the foundation of the relationship if you build one with him. So saying that, you need to you need to wait until he says to you, hey, I do miss you and I want to talk to you. Is there a way we can fix this, or something along those lines? If he does not message you and say that, I'm sorry to tell you, but you cannot go back on what you said. Because if you come back after saying, I'm not going to speak to you anymore, and then you message him again like, I miss you, or what's up, or how are you doing, it's going to make you look so emotionally weak. And it's going to make it look like when you try to stand on business, because you want him so badly and you need him in your life so badly, you couldn't even stand on that business. And so you're going back on your word. Like I always talk to you guys, so much more important for you to have respect than anything else. So if you say something, guys need to know that you mean that thing, not that you just talk out of your butt and you don't mean anything, so that he knows when you set boundaries or you have expectations that he doesn't have to take it seriously. Don't allow men to think that of you. Once you say something, you got to follow through. So if you say you're not going to talk to him anymore, the only way he should be able to feel like he gets access to you is by either apologizing or asking you for forgiveness, so that you guys can rekindle your relationship and actually build something here. If he does not reach out to you and say that, there's nothing you should be saying to him. Don't reach out. Don't do nothing. And when you're asking me what you can do aside from that, the most you can do is if he follows you, you can post on your stories. And maybe when he sees that and sees you going out and enjoying your life, maybe he'll message you because he's reminded of you. But I wouldn't hold out hope for that. Okay? I wouldn't, especially if he's a busy guy with lots of stuff to do. I wouldn't have that be like the thing that you're thinking is going to save you. But you can do that as a strategy to just have him continue seeing you on an ongoing basis and be reminded of you. I just don't want to promise you that that's going to work for you in that situation. But what you cannot do by any means necessary is reach out to him and either apologize to him for saying that, or say, oh, I missed you, which is why I'm reaching out to you. I know that it sounds really mean, and I know that it sounds like really, hard nosed, but once you say it, you can't unsay it, or else you look very unserious. Don't do that. Okay. Thank you so much to Prissy. Prissy is donating so much in the TikTok chat. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. I hope that makes sense to you, Shay. Okay. Instagram or Snapchat, wherever he hangs out the most, that's your best bet in terms of where to post so that he can be reminded of you. But do not be reaching out to him. Don't like any of his stuff, and keep what you're doing in terms of not watching his stories, because ain't nothing left for you to do once you say that. You got to stand on that business, girl. You got to stand on that business. Next we have here, where to go from here. Okay. So Y on Y says in our Relationship Advice Premium, she says, where to go from here. Hey, Tomisin, I recently started watching your videos and I've learned a lot. I wish I found your channel earlier. Maybe I wouldn't be stuck in the loop I'm in right now and could have done some things differently. You might be a bit disappointed reading this, but hopefully you won't need to take a stretch. I already did one for the first question we had today. I'm a 29-year-old female and met a 35-year-old man on Discord about a year ago. Not in our Discord. There's no men in our Discord except for me. Okay, I live in Toronto, just like me. And he lives on the east coast of the USA, about several hours drive from me. So what, like Buffalo? Okay, or New York? When we met, we had a talking stage that lasted 3 to 4 months. After a couple of months, I expressed interest in wanting a relationship and meeting him in person. Oh, so you hadn't met him in person? Oh. He would kind of dance around the question, said that he had more important things to focus on, and that he didn't have money to meet up. I'm going to highlight it again. I'm not going to diss anyone and their financial situation. We all go through things. But if he's not if he's this age and he doesn't have the finances to get from, New York to Toronto, which is, like a 5-hour drive, 8 hour, say 8-hour drive, depending on where you are in New York. If you're in Buffalo, closer to the northern part, it's probably like a 4-hour drive. If he doesn't have the finances to do that, he probably shouldn't be dating, and you probably have no reason to entertain him. He probably has other things he should be worried about other than dating, and you should recognize that as well. Not to diss him. Everyone goes through their own financial struggles and situations, okay? But he's probably not ready to be dating. Probably not. He would dance around the questions. He has more things worried about, and he didn't have money to meet up. He was between jobs at the time, but that he might be in the future. Okay, so you should need to adopt the mindset that, hey, if you're not ready now, that's fine. When you are ready, let me know. You can't spend a whole bunch of your time wasted with someone that's telling you, I can't promise you anything. Because then you're literally, when you stay, you're acknowledging that down the line, when nothing happens, you can't be upset about it because you already said okay to the guy saying, I can't promise you anything. Not even commitment. Not even seeing you in person. When I told him it didn't seem like he had liked me back or wanted to meet me, he would say that it wasn't true, that he did, but just couldn't afford it until he started a new job. I was so disappointed, but believed him and kept talking. So you kept wasting time. A couple of weeks later, we started texting and exchanged pics. Anytime you guys say anything about pictures, you guys know where my mind goes. You got your pants at your ankles, showing your dump truck off, taking mirror pictures with your pants at your ankles. It's not good. It's not good. Hopefully this isn't what that is, but that's where my mind goes anytime you guys say that. After this, I noticed he seemed to treat me differently. After you showed him that dump truck, he started acting a little bit different. He seemed more distant. I'm not going to say anything. Started putting less effort into talking to me, leaving me on red regularly. Often saying he was busy when I would ask to call him. I brought this up to him, and he just said he didn't think he was acting different. After a while of this, it started to get to me, and I got tired of putting an effort into someone who seemed less interested than me because it made me feel bad about myself. So I withdrew myself. After a short time, he seemed to have noticed I withdrew because he started putting in more effort. By that point, though, I was put off, and the next time he asked me for pics, I declined. The dynamic changed, and we stopped talking romantically, but we would still talk here and there, mostly meme exchange or short conversations. He still seemed somewhat interested, and would lightly flirt with me from time to time, but things stayed surface level for a while. Yeah, he's trying to get that wank material. If you can have your pants at your ankle sending him pictures, that's more wank material, and it's personalized, even better. Gets him even harder. So that's why anyways, back in March, he randomly started, what did I just say, chat? What chat? You guys do know that I am actually like a real human being man with real experience in real life, right? And you guys do know I know exactly how the men think. Please do not ever underestimate the fact that I actually am a man and know how men think. Please don't underestimate that. Okay. Don't think because I spend a lot of time with you all beautiful women in the chat that I don't know how men really think and I don't really understand them. Okay. I haven't read this ahead of time. And what did I just say? He started pineappling me. He sent me pics, but I didn't send him any back. Oh, you're learning. What's your name again? Y on Y? You're learning at least. Okay. Congratulations. We started talking more after that. I felt there was potential since he was flirting with me and showing interest in talking to me and had gotten a good paying job so he would be able to afford travel. Let's see if he does. I told him I had a crush on him and asked him if he was interested in me. Why are you doing that? I know why you're asking the question, like in theory, but like, why are you doing that? If he likes you, he will show you that. You need to understand that like 99% of communication is nonverbal. So you need to start taking hints at how someone treats you to answer for yourself if they like you. Truthfully, if you're ever at the point where you have to ask someone if they like you, there's a lot of things that are wrong. Okay, I'll just give you that as a tidbit. He kind of danced around the question. Once again, like I just said, if you have to ask the question, there's a lot of other things you need to be worried about because there's a lot of things wrong there. And mention distance being an issue. So basically what he's trying to tell you is, I just think of you as good wank material. When I'm horned up and my pee-pee has so much blood flow I can barely think, I message you for personalized pics and a little bit of dirty talk. I wank myself off, bust a crazy nut inside my boxers, and then I go to bed or I move on with my life. That's basically what he's saying. But I don't have any real feelings for you. Not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to tell you for real. I was confused by his answer because the way he worded it, it sounded like yes or no. What he means is, I like you when you can send pictures of your pants at your ankles and I can wank off to them. That's what I like, and that's when I like you. Aside from that, I don't actually like you. But it feels like I like you when I'm wanking myself crazy. That's what he means. Okay, to translate. We slowly started talking more. Eventually, we started pineappling again. Chat, what did I just say? What did I just say to you, chat? And to you, Y on Y? It's great wank material. And when he is wanking himself crazy, busting a powerful nut, screaming at the top of his lungs, he likes you then. And he likes talking to you then. When you send him some nice pictures, it's great. He doesn't actually like you, though, aside from using you as wank material. You're like personalized OF. You didn't realize you were an OF model, but you actually are. You're personalized OF for free. You know how exclusive that is? That's awesome. For him, not for you. I felt the same pattern starting to repeat where he would treat me differently after pineappling me. And I was initiating most of the conversation. He would take long to respond, etc. I mean, yeah, think about this. After he busts a nut and all over his boxers and wipes it off with his crusty sock, he wants to go and do something else. Spend time with his friends, play video games, do other things that's not talking to you because he doesn't actually like you. He wants to wank himself off to pictures of you with your pants at your ankles. A couple of months ago, he suggested flying to my city to hang out with me as he would be going to an event in New York around late August, and it would be cheaper to fly from there. Okay? I thought you live in Toronto, though. I told him I was interested, but he said he still needed to plan out his vacation, so I told him to let me know. Okay? Around that time that this was happening, I told him, I had told a mutual friend of ours that I had a crush and was talking to this guy. I didn't realize it at the time, but his friend was a snake. Wait, so you told the mutual friend that you had a crush on a different guy? I'm not sure if he talked about me behind my back to the guy I have a crush on because he knew some not great things about my past relationships, but I noticed around this time that the guy I was talking to stopped flirting with me and hadn't really been messaging me as much. Okay, so what you're saying is you told this mutual friend, and this mutual friend went back to the guy who's the main character of this story in question, and then he started acting a little bit more strange after this mutual friend had a conversation with the guy in question here. Okay, I understand now. Me and this friend were in a severe. Wait. Sorry, I read that wrong. Me and this friend were in a server together, like a Discord server, and I had asked for advice in the server about the guy I had a crush on. You should have done that in a players club. That was your first mistake. For whatever reason, this friend was annoyed or like jealous that I was asking for advice about this guy and decided to invite the guy I had a crush on to the server. What? And told him I was talking about him to try to make things weird between us and make me look bad. Is this what you guys be doing in my Discord? Is this the type of stuff that be going on in my Discord? I would hope not. There ain't even any. I'm glad there ain't no boys in our Discord. Okay, because I don't want none of this type of stuff happening in our Discord. Okay, all right. I'm no longer friends with this person as I felt that this was very weird and disrespectful to do. I agree. Very weird behavior. Like that's weird behavior. Remove yourself from behavior like that. I mentioned to this guy and expressed that I was weirded out and upset by what happened. His friend has essentially used him to mess with me. I asked if he was weirded out by this, and he said, why would I be weirded out by it? He didn't seem to have any strong feelings about what happened, which I thought was weird. I asked him if he felt weird around me because of what happened, since I noticed he hadn't been texting me much for the last week or so, and he just said he was busy. A couple of my friends who I vented to about the situation recommended that I withdraw myself and don't talk or text or respond to him for 1 week so that he would have a chance to miss me and reflect on how he feels about me and to see how he reacts, considering he's been so wishy-washy and hasn't given me a straight answer as to whether or not he likes me. I did, and he just sent me memes and reels, but didn't initiate conversations. Okay, one important point that I want to actually point out to you before we finish this message here that you mentioned here. I don't know if you mentioned, you said, you keep saying me and this friend, but it does sound like you're talking about a guy. I think you mentioned it. And told him about this guy and decided to invite the guy I had a crush on. So if it's a guy, I just want to mention this to you, just so you're aware, why on why. Never talk to another guy about the guy you like, because a lot of times the guys that you think are your friends that you're talking to about other guys, they actually like you or want you themselves secretly, and they are going to sabotage, if they can, the relationship that you're trying to build with the guy you actually want, because secretly they resent the fact that they want you and you want another guy, and you're sitting there talking to them about another guy. So never do that with another guy. If this was a girl, then ignore that. But if this was a guy that was the mutual that, made this weird, that's the reason why. Don't be thinking, that's why I tell you guys, don't think that these guys are your friends. They're not. And definitely don't think that these guys are your therapists that are actually trying to help you with your problems. They want to help you with their problems so that you feel closer to them, that they could end up sleeping with you. But they're not actually concerned about your problems and being there for you for real. They just want to be there for you if it means the chance to be with you themselves. I have to be honest with you. Don't get that confused. Even over Discord or e-dating. At this point, late July, he hadn't mentioned whether he had decided to come visit me or not, so I asked him about it. Once again, you actually do have your answer. You just don't want to accept that as an answer, which is why you're asking him for a direct answer, thinking it might be different. It's never different. He said he wasn't sure yet, and he hadn't asked for a vacation. He hadn't asked for vacation time yet. I decided to wait since I assumed he would book it off when he was able to. One day, I joined a VC in what chat. You guys know, I'm a tech guy, but I'm not really like an online guy. So you guys got to explain to me some of this stuff. What is a VC? I don't know what a VC is. Okay. I'm a little bit confused. Voice chat. Oh, see, I don't even be knowing the terminology. Okay. I like tech, but I don't know, like the internet, a lot of the internet stuff. Like, you got to put me on. Okay. A voice chat. I joined the voice chat in with him and the mutual friend in a server we were in. He didn't really acknowledge me. Didn't say anything when we were mutual. Didn't say anything when the mutual friend made a rude comment about me having a crush on him. Sorry, I just want to pause here. What is the age here? Okay. Was being very obnoxious overall and seemed to be low-key flirting with another girl that was in the voice chat with us. The next day he messaged me and was sending me pics of cool stuff he saw when he went out with his friends and talking about his outing like nothing happened, which I thought was weird. Also, a couple of times he sent me reels that seemed like they might have been meant for another girl. A week or so later, I decided to ask him again to confirm if he was coming. Your name is Y on Y, and I'm asking you why. Why do you keep asking questions that you know the answer to? At this point, I just wanted closure if he was actually going to come see me or not. If he wasn't, I think that says a lot. The conversation we had went like this. You, so this is what you said. You never got back to me about whether you're going to come hang out. Him, I already said why. Me, I think you might say, you said that you weren't sure if you could book the days off since you hadn't asked yet. But the conversation happened a couple of weeks ago. Did you figure out if you could book it off? Oh God, this is really painful. You're doing way too much. Okay? You do not have to. Let me explain something to you about men, like grown men. You don't have to remind them to come see you and spend time with you if they actually want to do that. They will be well aware of their schedule and when they're free and how to go about seeing you if they really want to do that. If he doesn't seem to be on top of it and doing that, it's because he does not want to. And let me tell you straight up, Y on Y, you're doing the most here. You said you were going to book it off a couple of weeks, but it's been a couple of weeks. Did you book it off yet? You're not his mom, okay? And you don't need to be keeping tabs on him like his mom. Just accept that he really doesn't want you. And to be honest with you, he's trying to do it the nice way. You need to get the hint. Him, my boss hasn't been around. Me, are you actually interested in hanging out with me? You never really say yes or no when I ask you. Okay, you're digging yourself an even deeper hole and embarrassing yourself more. You know the answer. You know what? I shouldn't even assume. I'm going to tell you that the answer is no. That is why he's not giving you a definitive answer. He's just letting you down easy by skirting around it, and some guys don't know how to just say no. The truth of the matter is he's not that interested in you, and he doesn't actually have the intention of coming to see you. So I'm going to give you the answer for you. He doesn't want to see you. That's why he's skirting around the question. Every time a guy skirts around a question, in terms of his interest in you, it's a no. Anytime you in your own mind are questioning his interest in you, it's a no. When guys are interested in you, they'll make it very clear and it'll be very obvious to you, and he'll be trying the most to see you. You won't have to ask him about when he was supposed to book the dates off that he said he was going to book. He'll just do it. I'm telling you. So then he goes on to say, if I didn't, why else would I have brought it up in the first place? Okay, what he's doing is just, he's not actually serious. Okay, he's not actually, don't get confused. I'm not sure, but I feel like you haven't put much effort into making arrangements for that to happen. You're 100% correct. and you know the answer. He says, if you say so. You say, what do you mean? If you haven't shown me otherwise. Then he says, plenty of things that are going on that I haven't mentioned. And then you say, like what? Feel free to mention them. Part 3, he then proceeded to trauma dump on me and tell me a bunch of bad things that are happening in his life, family issues. I expressed sympathy for his situation, but asserted that I just wanted him to confirm if he was coming or not. He didn't respond. I felt bad for him and he was having a hard time, but I felt like he was setting things up to make an excuse to not come see me. I waited a couple of days, then I told him the time when he suggested to come was a week away. The amount of chasing around you're doing is just making me laugh here. And should know by now if he's able to come or not. He told me that he asked that day to take time off and couldn't because someone else had already booked it off and didn't want to be too far from his family in case there was an emergency. So basically he means no. The answer is no. Like it always was. No. He was still planning on going on his trip since it wasn't far from where he lived and was on the weekend, so he didn't need to book time off to go. Basically what he's saying is, I'm going to go on the trip still. I'm not going to come see you because I don't want to come see you. He apologized for getting my hopes up. I expressed to him that I felt led on since he waited until the last minute to tell me he wasn't going to come when he should have known that. But she should have known before that point if he wasn't going to be able to show up. He kind of passive aggressively responded saying that I didn't know someone else had it booked off months ago and found out recently. I told him he doesn't communicate well, so I'm left to assume things. He said, well, I don't know what to tell you. Good night. I felt disrespected, so I didn't respond, and we didn't talk for a week. That should have been the end of it. That should have been the end of it. Eventually, he started sending me memes and reels, and I didn't respond. Okay, now you're getting some sense. The weekend of his trip came, and he sent me some pictures from his trip. He's literally wasting your time. I don't even know why you fall for this. My curiosity got the better of me because I wanted to know what he was up to, so I responded, and we talked about his trip. Why? It's not like he's taking the trip to come see you. What's the point? You're having pointless conversation. It's been a little under 2 weeks since then, and we've only talked one other time, but he continues to send me Insta Reels. I notice he's been more active in the servers we're in and not on social media. I feel like I didn't get closure, didn't create good boundaries, and didn't ask him his intentions. You don't need to ask him his intentions, as I stated before. I was watching your video the other day on how men will test you to categorize you, and I can't help but feel like this guy falls into one of the 5 categories you mentioned, as he sees me as free money. I'm confused why he still sends me memes or wants to talk to me, and why he stopped flirting with me. I've been trying to move on by focusing on myself, hitting the gym, working on my career, hanging out with friends, but he is constantly on my mind and I'm not sure how to get over it. What do you think I should do? What mistakes did I make in this specific situation? Is this salvageable? And should I try to get closure from him? Okay, why on why? Thank you for your message. I'm going to make this very clear and very easy for you. What you need to do is stop talking to him. And you also need to watch my show on Pen Pals. So type in my name on YouTube and type in Pen Pals. You'll find the show that I did dedicated to Pen Pals, because that's what you have here is a pen pal. What a pen pal is in a relationship is a guy that you're talking to and chatting with every day over the phone, over text and all that stuff, but you're not actually seeing him in person. And there's no real plan or course of action to ever see each other in person. And on an ongoing period, all you do is chit chat, talk about this, he wanks himself off, right? You pull your pants down, you take pictures in the mirror, he wanks himself off, he chats with you for a little bit, but no real actual escalation into seeing each other in real life and building this relationship. Why? Either because he's too lazy, either because he doesn't like you that much, or he just doesn't take this whole experience seriously, much more than just a wank off session, okay? And any of those reasons doesn't serve you and is a waste of your time. So you need to realize that you're wasting your time by talking to guys who aren't even prepared to see you. You also need to understand that if you're going to build a long distance relationship, it only works if the guy that you're building a relationship with is double as intentional with you as a regular guy. Because in order for him to see you when there's a lot of distance in between you, he has to really, really want to make this work, regardless of the circumstances. And I always remind you guys, yes, your man is out there, and yes, the man that will treat you well is out there, but remove yourself from this mindset that the guys that I want are so much better in the places that I'm not. So stop thinking, I live in LA, and so the guys that are in New York are so much better than the guys in LA. Stop thinking, I live in Miami, but the guys in Toronto are so much better than the guys in Miami. I live in Toronto, but the guys in London, UK are so much better than the guys in Toronto. I live in London, but the guys are so much better in Nigeria than the guys in London. You probably wouldn't be saying that, but you get my point. And so I say that to say the guys are the same everywhere. And when you're talking to a guy thinking that he's some sort of evolved man because he doesn't live where you live, I want you to never forget that if you're not doing this solely because like you're actually building something with this guy and you're just doing it because you think guys are so much better in the places that you're not, you're really just allowing yourself to build a relationship with someone you don't know or build attachment to someone you don't know because you think it's easier and more exciting to be able to project feelings onto someone you've never met than to actually meet someone and be disappointed with them. Okay? Don't make that mistake and don't waste that time. The moment you have to ask a person if they like you, if they're interested in you, if they want to come see you, that is your answer. Especially as a woman, you shouldn't be having to question that, and you shouldn't have to be questioning that on an ongoing basis. Anytime guys are dancing around questions, dancing around whether they want to be with you, dancing around whether they want to see you, the answer is always no. It's always no. 100% of the time, no. Okay. Sarah Rutima says, I get the ick when a guy speaks my language. I want you to know that the guys that speak Spanish also cheat. The guys that speak Yoruba also cheat. The guys that speak Italian also cheat. They also, are disrespectful. They also do things bad as well, right? I'm not saying that all men are bad, but like you're going to have good and bad men everywhere in all cultures, in all walks of life. So focus more on analyzing situations and each individual rather than having in your mind, my Prince Charming speaks Spanish, or my Prince Charming lives in Sacramento. My Prince Charming lives in, South Beach. Like just, have in your mind, when I meet you, I will learn you and understand you, then decide on the type of person you are, not based on where you're from or the culture you have that makes you a Prince Charming or makes you my perfect guy, right? What makes you my perfect guy is how you treat me and how you go about this relationship. And I'm here to analyze and understand that, okay? That's what your mind needs to be on. And so I say that to you as well. Why? You're focused on the wrong things here and you're wasting a lot of your time. He gave you the answer by skirting around the answer. Don't be confused because he skirted around the answer. That was your answer. Please don't ever forget that. And don't be confused by that. So you're asking him why, and he's telling you why. And every time he sends you those reels again, and every time he has that stupid, pointless chit chat with you, just ignore it. It's a waste of your time because you need to say to yourself, why am I even messaging you? You're not going to come see me and I'm never going to meet you. Like start thinking of your life as like days being marked off your calendar, where each day being marked off, you're closer to death. Because that's the truth. You're closer to dying each day that gets marked off your calendar. So why aren't you spending those days with as much intention and as much vigor and, going in a place that you actually want to be as much as possible? Why are you spending those days chit-chatting with someone that you know deep down in your heart you're never going to meet in person? Are you telling me you're going to get married through Discord? I don't know. Is that a new thing that people do? They get married on Discord? And they build the relationship through Discord? Are you going to be able to have Discord babies? Are you going to be able to have Instagram reel babies? Are you going to name your child IG? IG Junior, you're going to have a child like that? Maybe I'm unaware of technology that you can get impregnated by the internet. But as far as I know, you can only do that in person when you meet someone and you spend real time with them. So if the guy that you're chit-chatting with endlessly is never having the intention of seeing you in real life, there is no relationship that's going to come from this. So why bother wasting the valuable days of your life, even having a random conversation with him? Why? You could be using that energy to reinvest into yourself, or even better, take a step outside of your house, Go to somewhere interesting, spend some time there, or go to a place where you reoccurrently spend some time there, build a community with people or join a community of people in real life, and then start meeting real men that live in your area. Okay? And at least then, when you meet real men that live in your area, you won't have to worry about the idea of seeing them in person. Okay? I'm not saying this to diss you, but I'm just saying this so that you can start being more intentional with your time and stop wasting time chit-chatting with guys that don't have a lot of intention. That's the problem as well. When you start talking to guys on the internet, especially or even through dating apps, sometimes you end up coming across like either serial dating app guys or like serial internet guys where all they do is chit-chat on the internet. So it's good to meet an internet guy that will message you back in 5 minutes, right? Because you're like, oh my God, it feels so good to message someone every 5 minutes and I never feel like I'm not talking to you. But when you find a guy who's really good at the internet and is a serial e-dater and is great on dating apps, you usually find that those guys are the worst people to meet in person because they're boring, uninteresting, and not charismatic. Because all of their energy and focus has been spent on being the best e-dater and the best texter. So the only time you actually like him is over text. But when you're in person with him, you're like, damn, I don't really like you that much, or you're just not my type. So I say that to say, start focusing on meeting guys that are good in person and horrible on text, because that will serve you better for a long-term relationship than guys that can send you reels all the time. But when it comes to meeting you in person, they get nervous because the e-daters and the dating app guys, they start to get nervous when you talk about meeting them in person because they know deep down in their heart, they can't have conversation. They can't be interesting. They can't, have you like glued to them and be charismatic and, be charming and all that stuff, right? They know they can't do that. So they get nervous anytime someone talks about meeting them in person because they know that as soon as that person meets them in person, they won't really want them anymore, which is part of the reason those guys get nervous. And so where all the e-daters and nervous men who can't talk to any girls and can't be charismatic or interesting in person, you know where they all go? They go to Hinge. They go to Bumble, they go to Tinder, they go to IG, they DM you, they message you, they go to Snapchat, all of these apps they go to and they run to talk to you over the internet, and they never want to see you in person so that they can keep the hope alive that you want them and you're building with them, because they know once you see them in person, it's done for. Don't waste your time. Why on why? And don't answer any more of his reels. Okay, guys? You know what? I got time. I'll do one more free one here because that one was long and I want to give free some love here as well. So we'll do 1 or 2 free ones. That's the thing. I forgot. This free one is really long and I don't want to be here so long and I want to answer a few. So don't worry. Oh, these are deleted. I'm going to come back to you, Santa. Your message is really long. That's the problem. I'm going to come back to you, Santa, and I'm going to do yours as well, okay? Let me do one of these free ones. This is a short one, so I'll do this one before I get out of here. Please help me. Okay? Perfect Rose says, hi, Tomisin, and thank you for your great content. I just need to know how to stop stalking his social media. I'm in so much pain and trying in vain to move on. Okay. To stop stalking his social media, I'll make this very easy for you, Perfect Roast. You need to deactivate your social media. If you are someone that can't control the monster in your mind, because it is a monster, the monster in your mind every second of every day will be like, check what he's doing. Let's see what he's doing. And every time you open the app, your stomach's going to drop because you're going to be thinking about what did he post on his story. And you're going to be scrolling through your stories thinking, oh my God, did he post now? Did he post now? Did he post now? And you're checking your social media constantly, not even because you have anything to check, but just because you want to see if he posted something and you want to watch it in the first 30 seconds. And it's not healthy, and you're going to start losing control the more you feed that monster. So what I want you to start doing is when you're in that position where you can't help yourself, you need to deactivate your account. And there's a thing where on most social medias, you can deactivate it for at least 30 days, and you can still get it back eventually. But when you deactivate it, it's going to require you to do a whole bunch of verifying and stuff when you log back in. So it makes it just more friction between actually getting back online and being able to check stuff. And it's good because when you deactivate it and you put more friction in between you and like checking the stuff, it makes it harder to check it. So not only would I deactivate it, but delete the app off your phone. Another trigger, and I'm telling you this because I've actually experienced this, another trigger, a really crazy trigger, can actually just be seeing the app. So if the app is the first thing on your home screen on that first page, that can also, you don't realize it, but that is subconsciously triggering you to check the app. And a lot of times you'll realize deactivating and especially deleting the app so you're not seeing it on your phone every time you open your phone will actually make it easier to stop triggering yourself to click it and check it and click it and check it. And I've actually been there, which is why I'm telling you this, right? I've been there where I'm checking the app so much, I literally close the app and then I scroll on my homepage and then immediately I forget and I open the app again thinking I'm checking it newly, but I actually just closed that app. I've been that deep down a spiral myself, which is why I'm telling you, just deleting it off your homepage can do so much for you, like so much for you. And the thing about it is once you delete it and delete it off your homepage, delete it off your computer, right? Get it off your computer. If you have a MacBook, get it off of there. Make sure there's nowhere you can start receiving notifications, right? Any app that triggers you, because each and every one of you have a specific app that triggers you the most and you waste the most time on, make sure that app isn't sending you notifications. Make sure it's off your phone. Make sure it's off your computer, your laptop. Make sure there's nowhere where that app can trigger you by you seeing it or by it popping up on your phone. Get rid of it. And it will force you to have to spend some time doing something else. So within that 30 days that you're going to deactivate your Instagram or deactivate your Snapchat, whatever it is, the app that's wasting your time or you're checking all the time, or if it's all of them, what you need to start doing then is building a routine in your day that can be done daily and on the weekends, even when you don't have work, that requires your attention each and every day, that you have a now existing routine that you get used to that's not sitting around and laying in bed and checking social media. So you actually need to build that out. So get on your notes app and start typing out what you're going to be doing throughout the week when you have work, based on your work schedule and what you're going to be doing in your spare free time, and then do the same thing for your weekends. Even if that means you say, I'm going to wake up a little later at 10 a.m. instead of waking up at 7 a.m., build a routine around that and then actually stick to that routine. And for the next 30 days, I want you to do that routine to a T for the weekdays and for the weekends. What's going to happen is by the time you reactivate your Instagram on or whatever it is on after that 30 days, you'll have an already existing routine that you're more familiar with that's not centered around watching someone's social media. So what's going to happen is this weird law of the universe and the world. It's actually Newton's law, but it kind of applies to the universe as well. It's Newton's law of things that want to stay in, things that are in motion want to stay in motion. Things that are at rest want to stay at rest. It's kind of the same thing in the universe and the way that we operate. When you start building that routine and you have that snowball going, right, that movement going, that forward direction going of that routine, it actually, after a while, becomes harder to break that routine than it does to just continue doing that thing. So the same thing will apply for you here. Once you build the routine and you do it for the 30 days, you'll notice that even when you get the app back, it's actually harder to go backwards than it is to just continue doing the same thing you've been doing for the past 30 days. Okay, so that's my direct strategy and advice to you and any one of you who are feeling like you can't get rid of the social media and you can't stop checking it, okay? That's my advice to you as used by me and a strategy that I've actually utilized to bring myself out of that, okay? Because I'm just like you, I make mistakes and I have problems as well, all right? So that was the show for today. I hope you guys got a lot of value of that. Oh, let me make sure I check over here as well. I didn't get a chance to mention it when it came up. The super chat here that came from Jolie. Jolie sent in $5. Jolie, I hope you're still here. Sent in $5 earlier in the chat. She said, you should start a book club. I would be interested in reading and understanding Robert Greene from your perspective in dating. I've read a lot of Robert Greene books, guys. It's part of the reason why I talk about relationships so much and psychology. So yeah, maybe one day we'll do a book club. That could be a side thing that I do for all the subscribers and all the members of the channel here. We can do a book club for sure. For sure. Trust me, in these next few months, I got an editor, guys. I got lots of people that I'm trying to build out to make this team, so my time can be more spent with you guys as opposed to sitting around editing videos and all that other stuff. So we're gonna get to the stuff these next couple of months. Rest assured, you trust me. All right. For those of you who didn't get a chance to get your question answered, make sure you send that into the Discord. And if you want to skip the line and be in the VIP so you don't have to wait, go ahead and go into the relationship advice premium there. And all you got to do is go into the link in my bio and get that. Or you see and donate to the show. You put in your Discord username, put in the title of your question, and you'll get that. And it's also in the link in my description on YouTube as well. And for those of you who want to ask me private advice, you can also do that through that same link pinned in my YouTube comment here on the top in the live stream or in my TikTok bio link as well. You can ask me private advice, and I send you my advice through email on a voice message so that you can get private advice if you don't want your situation to be public. Okay? Right. And so for those of you who love me so much, and you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is available up top on the top left corner of the screen so that you guys can follow me there. If you're on TikTok, it's on the top left. My name is just Tomisin_Atub. You can follow me there on Instagram if you want to, and it's on the bottom right for those of you as well that want to follow me on Instagram. And for those of you who are on TikTok and you missed parts of the show or you came late, my name is Tomisin Atobatele. Just type it in on YouTube because I'm live there at the same time I'm live on TikTok. And you can go on my TikTok page, my YouTube page, go into the live section, and you'll find this live show along with all the other previous live shows that I've ever done since the beginning of time on my YouTube page, where you can rewatch them in their entirety. And the best part is you get the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video, so you never miss any of the context of conversation that we're having, because we got a lot of jokesters in the chat and reoccurring characters. It's like an everyday thing that we do here every day. Okay. All right, guys, I'm here every every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. So until we meet again tomorrow at 4 p.m., bye for now. Arrivederci, au revoir, adios, hasta la vista, sayonara, bon voyage! And I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you. Until then, okay. Ciao. I keep forgetting to add that one. Ciao. That was one I'm gonna add that one in the next.